Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. How are you doing? So good. I'm good. I'm glad to hear it. Today I've got 10 seductive fragrances. Fragrances that are going to charm and impress people that you run across. More specifically, the ladies. Unless you don't really care, and then it'll just charm and impress everybody. Your boss, your mom, your friend, doesn't matter. We got a pretty good mix here. Some fragrances that are a little more obvious and some that are not quite as obvious. Got some niche, some designer, a lot of good stuff here. So let's go ahead and jump into it and crack through these 10 fragrances. Friends, as always, I will link these in the description below. I'm pointing with ferocity. That's the description, not... yeah. And before we jump into the top 10, let me give you 10% off coupon codes. Gents 10, that is the coupon code for maxaroma.com and twistedlily.com, which will save you 10% off your order. And between April 1st and the end of June this year, as of when I'm filming 2023, Gents 2023 will get you 10% off your order at luckyscent.com. So use these codes when you're shopping for those niche and indie fragrances. Save yourself some money. All right, guys. Let's jump into it. First up, Prada Luna Rossa Ocean, a release from 2021, a newer release. Has it already been that long? Man, I swear it feels like this came out 3 months ago. It's got bergamot, lavender, iris, and musk. Of course, it's a blue type fragrance, but done in Prada's way, in Prada's fashion, in Prada's style. What does that mean? It means that it's on the cleaner side of things, as Prada is wont to put out, and the iris definitely helps with that. Wonderful fragrance for both spring and summertime because it is a blue fragrance. It has that versatility, that usability where you can use it just about any time, and it is also, of course, a compliment monster. So if that sounds appealing to you, definitely check out Luna Rossa Ocean. Next fragrance is from Ferragamo, and it's Intense Leather. Really like the presentation on this one. I think it looks very slick, very modern, very classy. Has this kind of faux leatherette feel to it on the front and on the cap, which increases how quality it looks. This is another one from 2021, and this one flies under the radar even more than Luna Rossa Ocean if we're talking about just your average everyday person. It's another one with iris, also has lavender in here. It's got apple and a bit of oak moss. This is one that works extremely well during the evening, and it still has enough freshness that it's going to work very well in spring or even summer. But it does have a little more depth to it, especially as it dries down. Intense Leather, another huge compliment puller. This is another fragrance that sometimes is not really easy to find in discounters. It tends to sell out from time to time. I think because it's just not in high stock at discounters. But as long as this is in stock and you can pick it up for a discounted price, it is a steal. Okay, next fragrance is quite a bit different than the last two that we've talked about. It's the first niche fragrance in this list. It's from Ormonde, Jayne, and it's Nawab of Oudh. This one is going to be more elegant, more luxurious than the last two fragrances. It does have oud. It's got spices in here. It's got rose, and looking at the note breakdown, you may think to yourself, it doesn't really sound like a springtime fragrance. Sounds more like fall or winter. You know, I don't know if I could pull this off, but absolutely in the evening, whether early evening or late at night in spring, this stuff shines. It smells awesome. It has a spicy, fresh, kind of sweet opening. You've got green cardamom in there. You've got bergamot off the top as well. As it dries down, you get florals in the mid, a mix of florals. It's got hidione in there. It's got magnolia, rose. And then as you hit that dry down, you've got oud. You have sandalwood, you have ambergris, a smooth, woody base. So this is one that, again, is more refined, more elegant, more like a special occasion kind of fragrance, but it smells great. Don't be scared off by the note breakdown. Extremely wearable, very pleasing, alluring. It has a little like faint similarity to Ormonde Man, but even more sophisticated than that one. Nawab of Oudh. This is really good stuff. And for the price that you can pick that up for at discounters, a steal. After that, Narciso Rodriguez Bleu Noir Eau de Parfum. You could also go with Bleu Noir Eau de Toilette Extreme, but that one I think is more like a daytime fresh fragrance. This one is gonna be a little bit more seductive than that one. But that one is also another under the radar compliment puller. So this one came out in 2018. This one is gonna be another one that's elegant. It's grown up. It's got a little bit of a classically masculine feel to it, but it is still at the same time elegant and fresh enough that you can pull it off during the spring. Narciso Rodriguez does have a small section of fans that are adamantly really behind the brand, but by and large, they can't compete with, of course, like Dior, YSL, Versace as far as sales goes, but this is absolutely on par, if not better, than most of the popular fragrances out there. It's gonna appeal more to guys middle-aged and older, but this stuff I think smells great. Okay, let's get a gentleman fragrance, because if we're talking about seductive fragrances that are gonna charm people, that are going to impress people, you do wanna have some in there that have a gentlemanly vibe, you know, ones that you can wear in more formal situations potentially. This one though, you can't shoehorn into just one category. You can wear it just about whenever you want. It is Gentleman Eau de Parfum Boisé. Sandalwood, cacao, cedar, and iris, making another showing here. Don't worry, this is the last fragrance with iris in it in this list. I know we're a little bit iris heavy at the top of the list. Great choice for spring, especially as it starts to transition from being a little bit cooler to a little bit warmer. This is a perfect choice for that time frame. The cacao mixing with the iris adds a nice little bit of sweetness, a bit of depth. The sandalwood works perfectly as this dries down. The iris in here is going to be a little bit more toward that creamy side of iris, but not overly so, because I know some people don't like it when the iris gets very makeup-y smelling. You get just a touch of that here, but not too much. Wonderful scent, great fragrance overall, especially during spring. Let's switch it up a little, go with the Tom Ford next. Bitter Peach. To an extent, little bit of a love it or hate it fragrance for some people. If you love the peach note in here, you're gonna love the fragrance. If you're not a big fan of peach, maybe it's just not for you. Personally, I'm a massive fan of peach and how it comes across in fragrances. Not used very often at all, but that stone fruit, the way that the sweetness comes across, man, I dig it. And I think it's great smelling here, very nice. Unisex fragrance, ladies can pull this off just as easily as men can. You also have patchouli in here with a heaping dose of vanilla and some blood orange in the opening. So you get this fruity mix. It's not just all peach, but that's definitely the star of the show. Good performance, eye-catching bottle, nose-catching fragrance, Bitter Peach. I think a killer release. Okay, classy one again. Then we're gonna go with some big time compliment pullers with some sweetness to them. So the classy fragrance is this one, Terre Eau Intense Vetiver. It has Sichuan pepper, it has a little citrus in there, and of course, vetiver. I mean, you can't call it Eau Intense Vetiver and have no vetiver. That would be insanity, it makes no sense. Now, some people, they prefer the original Terre they say that Eau Intense Vetiver, you know, it can't hold a candle to it. This reinterpretation, this flanker of the original Terre just not good enough. But for me, I think it's really, really good in its own right. And I think for, I guess, more people nowadays, your modern man, this would actually work better for them. Now, if you fell in love with the original and you swear by the original, no problem with that. Just wear that one, because that one to me is an absolute masterpiece. But Eau Intense Vetiver, it reins in some of that flintiness, that earthiness, that dirtiness from the original Terre that some people just don't like. And yes, over the years, I've heard it all. You know, people who are defending Terre the original, of course, to the death, and then just as many people saying, I could never wear this, I hate it. And for some of those people who just can't roll with the original, this one with the ramped up vetiver and reined in slightly earthiness is the better choice. Okay, a couple sweet big time compliment pullers up next. The first one is from Paco Rabanne. It is 1 million Parfum. Now, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I am not the biggest fan of 1 million Parfum, but I will not lie to you and tell you it doesn't pull insane compliments, because it does. Does that hurt my soul to an extent? No, I'm fine. This guy right here, a solar leather fragrance. So kind of a sunscreen, suntan oil in a leather bag. That's what you're getting here with a decent amount of sweetness, as I said. It has warmth to it though, as it dries down. I mean, it's not just all sweet, of course, and it exudes just appeal. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, you spray this on and women seem to just absolutely love it. So 1 million Parfum. Yes, some people think of it more of a summertime scent, but works just as well during the spring. Now this next one of, if actually not the biggest compliment puller of this whole list, Acqua di Gio Absolu. Versatile. Yeah, you bet it is. It's a marine fragrance, a little woody, some fresh spice in there, little touch of bubblegum sweetness. When it first came out, people were comparing it to Invictus, Paco Rabanne's Invictus, that it had a little bit of that kind of vibe to it. And it got a decent amount of hate because it is an Acqua di Gio that doesn't really smell like Acqua di Gio. But for some people, that's why they love it, because it doesn't smell like Acqua di Gio. It's its own little thing out here, its own little bubblegum aquatic thing. It's a fragrance with marine notes, a woody dry down to it, which helps add to the versatility. It's sweet. It's got this kind of light bubblegum sweetness to it, and a good fruitiness off the top, which makes it extremely appealing from the opening into the dry down. When it first came out, it did get hated on a decent amount, partially because it has some similarities to the Paco Rabanne Invictus line to an extent in the way the sweetness comes across here. Also partially because it's an Acqua di Gio flanker that doesn't smell a whole lot like Acqua di Gio, but that's also a reason that a lot of people loved it, because it doesn't smell like the other Acqua di Gios. It's kind of doing its own thing over here. As I said, if you're looking for compliments, you're looking for versatility, you're looking for a fragrance that people just seem to love, and one that will work for younger guys and middle-aged guys just as easily, check this out. Last fragrance is from Vilhelm Parfumerie. It is Morning Chess. It's got leather, patchouli, and bergamot as some of the notes in the fragrance. It's bright, it's fresh, it's a bit green, and it smells kind of similar to Creed's Aventus. Now, it's not the exact same as Creed's Aventus, of course. It's just one of those fragrances that gets lumped in with Aventus along with like 5 dozen other fragrances out there. It's just kind of one of those deals where you smell something and the way that the bergamot comes across reminds you a little bit of the bergamot pineapple accord combo that you're gonna find in Aventus. And when that happens, people go, oh, Aventus. So that's kind of what happened with Morning Chess. It does have the versatility that you would expect from a fragrance that gets lumped in with Aventus. Absolutely. It has that compliment factor. Absolutely. Presentation, beautiful. Cap, magnetic. It's energetic, it's lively, it's vibrant, it's extremely appealing. It doesn't have really that like smokiness that you're gonna get from Aventus. It does have leather in there, so you can pick a little bit of that out, but it's not the same as the birch that you're gonna find in Creed's Aventus. Morning Chess, a wonderful fragrance, probably the most hyped from the brand, if not the most, one of the most, and for good reason. I mean, it's the type of scent that you can wear anywhere and people are gonna absolutely love it. And the quality is apparent. When you spray it on, you know that you have something good there. So there we go. Seductive fragrances for spring. These will charm people, impress people. They will elevate your confidence, make you feel better, and make you smell amazing. Each one of these has its own strengths. And as long as you play to those strengths, you're gonna be smelling like $1 million. Thank you guys for hanging with me here. Stay safe out there and let me know in the comments, what are the fragrances around this time of year that you would wear if you're trying to impress somebody? Thank you all so much. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.